Stream. What is up, my world? First, as always, awesome. Bringing a little bit of a different scenery to you all this evening. Um, just wanted to go live, of course. I've been trying to keep a live streak going for you guys, first and foremost, and appreciate you all that are going to be tuning in this evening. As always, if you have any questions about starting a pest control company or owning a pest control company, whatever the case may be, do not hesitate to drop those in the chat below. These streams are specifically for you guys, of course. So if you have any questions or anything whatsoever, do not hesitate to shout them out in the description, in the chat box there. I know a lot of you will usually start joining the stream after a couple of minutes, so usually the first few minutes of the live streams is a little bit of quote-unquote filler, just answering some frequently common questions when it comes to starting and growing a pest control company. One question that I actually just received on our Discord group chat, I believe it was how do you go about spraying mosquito accounts with a Flow Zone, just the Flow Zone backpack, not the Flow Zone mosquito mister. Of course, that mosquito mister that Flow Zone just came out with is very expensive, of course, but how do we spray accounts for mosquito service with just a standard Flow Zone? The easy answer, I wish that I brought my tips out here because I literally just got them, yesterday. They came in the mail. Flow Zone now has a new line of tips that just came out recently. I forget the exact product line, what they named it off the top of my head, but I think they named it 110 something. If you go to their website, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about under accessories. Pro tip, definitely shop around. Flow Zone charges a premium price for their products on their website for some reason, I've noticed. The backpack sprayers, it's a pretty common price across the board, but when it comes to accessory parts and extra parts, that kind of thing, it's best to usually get it from your supplier. If you have one that you're in good with, you can usually get them for 50% the cost of their online website. But yes, we just got those nozzles in the mail, and I can tell you guys, because I just did my property, which is back behind me here, and obviously I'm not getting bit by mosquitoes since I just did that yesterday, and as well as today, as a matter of fact, because we're having my daughter's birthday party out here tomorrow. But those nozzles work amazing. It makes such a big difference. I don't know if I believe that those tips will be good in terms of using them for general pest control services. That is to be determined. I'll keep you guys updated. I'll do a product review of those new tips that Flow Zone just came out with. You do need an adapter for these tips as well, by the way. The adapter is not very expensive. Like I said, if you price it around, you can usually get it for around $10, and that's going to be your adapter as well as the actual tip holder. For example, I'll kind of show you guys in terms of just what it kind of looks like for why you need an adapter. First and foremost, I'm not an artist or anything, so keep that in mind, of course, but you have, we'll just call this your wand, right? This is your little wand, and usually you'd have, of course, your quick connect right here, right? Well, instead of it being just straight direct quick connect, you have to have an actual adapter for the quick connect, because the piece that the new tips will connect to, it's a slightly different fitting, just to put it in layman terms, right? So you have this adapter that will connect to the quick connect, that will go down in here, and then it gets just a little bit larger. Again, I'm not drawing it perfectly or anything, I'm not an artist or anything, but that adapter will go down inside here, of course, and snap into the quick connect just like any other Flow Zone tip that you'd normally have. And then from here, you're going to have this tip that, it kind of comes out of here, and then it takes almost like a little angle, and then from here it holds your tip, similar to how a B&G tip I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it compared to like B&G. So you know how with the B&G tip, the adjustable nozzle, right? You have the piece that kind of holds the tip in that you screw down. Similar type of concept here. Your tip is actually going to fit inside there, and you know you can change those new tips out. So it is a very that drawing is horrible, but it's a very good concept. I love that they ended up doing this. And like I said, they're not very expensive or anything either. If you get them from a local supplier or even one of those online suppliers like we use, Vesaris or Viserys, whatever they're called, their online website, of course, is like Pest Web. That's where we get most of our products, and especially FlowZone products and accessories. But I wanted to answer that question, and of course I see more of you all are starting to tune in as usual. If you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to shout them out in the chat below. We got the chat pulled up this evening. But the first question I was answering was, I seen it in our Discord group chat. I forget off the top of my head who asked the question earlier today. They were asking, how are you guys treating mosquito accounts with just a standard FlowZone backpack? I was explaining that I actually just got some new tips in the mail because FlowZone came out with a new line of tips, and I just used it on my own property today and yesterday, and I'll tell you what, that thing is a game changer for trying to use a FlowZone for mosquito treatments. You really have no use for a mosquito mister once you get these new tips. Of course, I'm not affiliated with FlowZone or anything. I am in the process of trying to get like an affiliate link for you guys to maybe get you some discounts and that kind of thing, hopefully, but we'll see. You know, they usually reach out to people or whatever the case may be, so we'll see. But those new tips definitely work very good. I would definitely suggest you guys look at getting some of those tips. I got the green one, the red one. I believe I'm supposed to be getting the yellow one as well. It may be coming in a separate delivery, it's hard to say, but I wanted to try out each one. So far, I like the red one the best. I believe it's the red one. Yeah, the red one is the one I like the best. The green one, I noticed that the pressure wasn't right. It was almost set up, you know, as if I was using the wrong tip. You know, if you just purchase cheap pressure washer tips, it doesn't work right with the FlowZone. It kind of messes with the pressure immediately. It had that kind of weird pressure to it, so I was like, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I hooked it up the same exact way you would hook up the red tip that came with it, but you know, it just wasn't really working well. So yeah, I like the red tip a lot though. That one they just came out with works great. I saw we have a question here. How's it going? South Country Home Inspections. Are you using the 110 tip? Yeah, so that's what I'm referring to. Yes, those 110 tips. They have, I think, 3 different ones. The one that I'm referring to that I liked a lot is the red one. It's kind of like the original of that new lineup that they just came out with. I purchased one of each, actually 2 of each as a matter of fact. One is the red tip, one is, you know, the green one, and then there's a yellow one if I recall. I didn't receive my yellow one yet, so like I said, I'm wondering if it is coming in a different shipment or something, but I did receive my green one, my red one, and the green one I did not care for. Like I said, the pressure was almost as if the tip was the wrong type of tip. So we'll definitely see if, you know, I'll try it out again at some point and see if I like it better. But as of now, the red tip is the one that I definitely like the most. And yeah, it's that 110 tip that you mentioned there. And that one, it's a game changer. I saw they even came out with like a deflector, you know, to help prevent the spray. You know, if you're spraying and a random gust of wind, of course, comes and tries to blow it back in your face, they came out with like an actual like deflector that almost acts as like a little screen for you. So I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't purchase it, but it's a cool idea if nothing else. We have, you know, screen visors and that kind of thing, and of course safety glasses and everything else. So I didn't think it was really necessary, but it is a cool idea if nothing else that FlowZone came out with. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question as well as the question that I received in Discord about how we, you know, treat mosquito services with just a standard FlowZone backpack. Like I said, it makes it where, in all honesty, you really don't even need a mosquito mister. One of you guys actually messaged me on Facebook or Discord, one of the two, asking about buying my current mosquito mister, so I appreciate that, of course. But Yeah, of course, if you guys have any questions or anything whatsoever, don't hesitate to drop it down in the chat. And if you're enjoying the stream so far, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate that. Speaking of which, I still have to get on getting that script uploaded to our website, griffinbthomas.com, for you guys, because we hit our like goal last night of 10 likes. We had like 13 14 likes on the stream before the end of the stream, so I still got to upload that. It's been a crazy busy day compared to usual, but let's see. So we had a couple of you guys here. Flowzone has been stepping up their game with accessories. Yeah, no, most definitely. That tip, with the original 25 degree fan tip, that original green one that it came out with, it made it where it was very difficult to not put down, almost over apply, in all honesty, when it came to mosquito treatments. I tried going back and forth between just level 1 and level 2 setting on the Flowzone with that 25 degree fan, and it was level 1 was almost not putting out enough. You kind of have to stay in there for a second and then move on, stay in there, where level 2 you'd almost have to be running, otherwise you're drenching the the bushes and trees and stuff. So it was kind of a nightmare, where these new tips that they came out with, like I said, I can already tell it's a game changer. I'm going to do a review for you guys on that here probably for the next week roughly. Maybe out in the field or at my house in the backyard or something, just kind of show you guys the difference, because now on a level 1, level 2 setting, whichever you prefer really, it puts it down perfectly. It just does exactly what you need it to. It's a super wide fan. It's amazing, in all honesty. How's it going, JM? Aren't you using more solution with the Flowzone versus a mister? You can, like I was mentioning with those new tips that they came out with, it's a game changer. For example, my yard, when I was using just the original tips that the Flowzone came with, I would put down 3 gallons easily, which is way more than necessary, where with the new tip that I just tried out on this property, I only used about 100 or 110 is the lineup. I only used about maybe 1.5 gallons, 1 to 1.5 gallons. Matter of fact, I used the rest just to because I got used to using 3 gallons, so I filled up about 3 gallons. I ended up going around and doing my house with that same tip, and even doing that and the mosquito spray, I still ended up with about 1 gallon left in my backpack. So I did all of that with, right around 2 gallons, maybe just over. I forget off the top of my head exactly what the level was at, but right around 3 gallons is what I had, and there was about 1 gallon left. So, around 2 gallons or so is what I use for my whole property, which my property's not big either, by the way. I mean, you can see the fence probably in the background right here. All that's really here is patio, pool, a little bit of greenery in the back, which I have to spray, of course, for the mosquitoes, and then that's the end of the property line. The front yard, there's a little bit more in terms of yard, but yeah, I mean, there was no reason to be using 3 gallons for a mosquito spray. So yeah, if you're not using those new Flowzone tips that just came out, then yes, you're going to be using more from my experience. But yeah, with those new tips, it's a game changer. I think the guy who asked that question originally just asked it again in Discord, so hopefully he hopped in here on the live stream, because I've answered it now 2 or 3 times for him. Let's see, I think I saw JM said something else too. Been working on my Google Business Profile and website. Awesome. Yeah, it's a never-ending battle for sure. I've added a wand that's double the length on mine, and that's been a big help too. Yeah, no, awesome. I never even thought about that, kind of using another wand as an extension too. Let's see. Do you treat perimeter, or do you just treat perimeter, or everything? So, if I'm understanding your question right, let me just tell you how I do mosquito treatments essentially. So for smaller properties like my yard, where there's some stuff to spray, but not really a lot. What I'll usually do is I'll go ahead and do the fence line, specifically what's in the shade, like shaded areas, that kind of thing. And then what I'll do is, of course, hit all of the shrubbery and all that type of stuff. And then if for some reason they just don't have virtually anything to spray whatsoever, I'll do that same thing, and maybe even hit a little bit of the grass that's shaded as well. I usually try to steer people more towards something like Into Care if that's the case, which even Into Care isn't ideal for those type of people, but some people are just like, they won't accept the truth about their property. Just hey, it's not your property that's the issue, it's your next door neighbor that has the jungle. Maybe get them on a program, right? But yeah, for like bigger properties that there's a lot to spray, we're spraying anything that needs to be sprayed at the end of the day. I have properties that are like 1 to 2 acres, like not a lot of them, but giant properties, and those, I will spray everything. I have accounts where we will easily use, now given this is before using the new tips that FlowZone just came out with, but we would use easily 6 to 8 gallons on some of these homes. Now I got a feeling it's probably going to be closer to like 4 gallons, roughly 4, maybe 5 or so. We'll see. Like I said, I'll keep you guys updated on, how the tips make a world of difference and all that good stuff. But overall, yeah, no, it's that's pretty much how we do it. We do it pretty similar to a lot of other companies. The main thing that we do different also is I love using Alticid where applicable, of course, the granular. If I notice that, there's some little puddling or something like that, usually during rainy season earlier in the spring and later in the summer and early fall, then I'll sprinkle some of that Alticid in those areas. And then of course we utilize Into Care as well. You guys have heard me probably mention Into Care at least a couple times on the channel. We love using Into Care systems as well. Trying to think if there's anything else I might be missing off the top of my head. Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'll spray down like a patio area, like where I'm at right now. It's kind of like I wouldn't say, it's not an enclosed patio, obviously, but if you were to like see from my view right now, back behind you guys, this wall right here goes a few feet and then it goes, around like a square patio. On patio setups like that, I'll go ahead and, spray down the patio area. Not spraying down furniture or anything, of course, but I'll kind of do similar to like a perimeter barrier treatment, that kind of thing as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do when it comes to the mosquito treatments. It's pretty simple and straightforward overall, but another thing, of course, is mulch. Spray down those mulch beds. If there's any flower beds, obviously you don't want to hit flowering plants or anything like that, but anywhere you're able to spray down mulch beds and stuff like that, it's never a bad idea to do that as well. So hopefully that answers the question. I'm trying to think if you guys have any questions, of course, drop them in the chat. I see we got 5 of you tuning in right now. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream so far. If you have been, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. I wanted to change up the scenery a little bit for you all this evening. I got family in town because our daughter's birthday party is tomorrow. So instead of being in my office, which is right above where the kids would be stomping and banging around, I was like, you know what? I got my patio set up finally, got my new TV hooked up and everything. Why don't I just come out here, even though I am sweating my balls off, not gonna lie to y'all, it's humid as hell out here tonight. It's still, let me see what the temperature is. It is 98 degrees right now, and it's going on 10:30 at night. And I don't even know what the humidity is. I know it's at least 60% at the minimum. The dew point's probably in the 70s right now, if I were to take a guess. But I wanted to just change up the scenery a little bit. You guys can probably hear the little waterfall going in the background to the pool and whatnot. But yeah, I wanted to change it up a little bit, make it where it's still kind of calm, not a bunch of banging and kids hooting and hollering all around and all that type of stuff, of course. And I'm trying to think while I'm waiting for you guys to come up with any questions you may have. I'm trying to think of other questions that we have off the top of my head, like recent questions. I don't have my laptop pulled up with me tonight, otherwise I would just answer them directly from YouTube. I'm trying to think of just the most common questions I get specifically from newer viewers. Let me see. A common question, of course, is, who do we use for like a chemical provider as well? Of course, I did a video. I actually did a live stream about this probably, I want to say at least 4 months ago. It was like March or April of this year. Who we get most of our chemical from for our pest control business. The main ones that we use for chemical providers are Pest Web, in terms of if you're looking them up online. If you type in Pest Web, they'll pop up. You can also type in Viseris. It's VES. What is it, man? Is it VESIRS? I believe. Let me see. VESIRIS. I believe. That's or no. VESERIS. Something along that line. But like I said, if you type in Pest Web online, that's who we use for our chemical provider for the most part. There's also Target Specialty, I believe is their name. If you type in, Target Specialty pest control products, they'll usually pop up as well. They can have some good prices. What else is there? And in all honesty, occasionally Amazon. Not gonna lie, Teco Pro IGR. I actually have a link down below for you guys if you use any IGRs like Gentrol, Teco Pro IGR, etc. I found a very good price, at least right now. Of course, with Amazon prices fluctuate, but as of this week, the link that I have in the description box, I believe it's down towards the bottom of the description box. It'll say, Teco Pro for cheap or something like that. There's a 16-ounce bottle of Teco Pro IGR on Amazon right now for only like $47, $48 last I checked. I know because I just had to buy some recently. And even Viseris, they sell it for right around $52, I want to say, if I recall off the top of my head. So, that's pretty good pricing. It sounds like, oh, well, it's only a $4 difference. First of all, rule number one, never say only about money, right? Rule number two, think about it in terms of percentages. Don't think about it in terms of dollars. If you saved $4 on what would have been a $52 product, you just saved right around 8%, I believe, off the top of my head, somewhere around 7 to 8%. So what if you added 7 to 8% to your bottom line, the money that you're bringing home at the end of the day? Instead of taking home 100 grand, you take home 107. Would you be happy taking home another 7 grand a year? I would be. So never say only about money, first and foremost, but of course, like we said, think about it in terms of percentages. Always when you are breaking down your expenses for your business and everything, think about it in terms of the percentages first, and then, attach a dollar amount to it as well if you wish. I believe we had some comments here. I've been trying to price granular applications for lawns. So I don't do any type of lawn treatment because that requires a lawn and ornamental license, which right now I just have our pest control certification as well as termite. I know my cousin in the Midwest actually just got his lawn certification this year and offers lawn treatments as well. From what I understand, one, they can definitely be pricey, but two, to feed off of that, it's because it's pricey for the applicator too, right? So I would say, of course, first and foremost, calculate how much time you're going to spend at a property, how much in chemical you're going to spend at the property, and then from there figure out what you want to make per either, however you like to figure out how much you're going to get paid, either per hour, per job, whatever the case may be, and just make sure that, just like with pest control, right, you get to that number. So hopefully that at least helps the best that I can. How's it going, Eric? Viseris, I think. Viseris. Okay, so I think my last spelling was pretty right. So Veseris is how we spell it. So yeah, Viseris is who we use for, like I said, pretty much at least 75% of our chemical. They're definitely our majority. That's who we get our Lambda 9.7 CS from, formerly, primarily known as Demand CS. Demand CS is, of course, the most expensive version of, the Lambda products that you can get your hands on. But at the end of the day, there'll be a lot of chemical nerds who will tell you that that Demand is the superior product, but I can tell you firsthand that I'm in an area where pests are all year round a problem, and Lambda 9, I've used them all. I've used Demand CS, I've used Lambda 9.7 CS, I've used Cyanora, I've used Seismic CS, I've used Lambda Star. I will say Lambda Star is probably the worst. Lambda Star followed by Cyanora. Cyanora works good, but man, that shit stinks. Like, I felt like I was inhaling cancer whenever I would like smell that stuff. Like, it'd make me cough and everything else. I couldn't stand Cyanora. I think it's called like Cyanora 9.7 or something like that. Those two are the worst, I will say that. And not even from a performance standpoint, just, they have their little issues. But, you cannot go wrong at the end of the day if you pick Seismic, Lambda 9.7, or Demand. They all work the same, to be honest. But my point is that's our main chemical for barrier treatments most of the year. We do change it up because I like to mix in a non-repellent, especially during the spring and summer months, early summer months specifically. Usually from about March through June or July, we'll be using a lot of non-repellents like either Tempered FX, Taurus SC. Those are the ones we use primarily whenever we're doing it for ants and stuff specifically. And then, like I said, Lambda 9.7. Both of those we primarily get through Viserys. Thank you. Viserys contacted me, but I'm in Illinois, so not sure if that would be good for me. So they do have a location, I believe it's in St. Louis, JM. So I don't know from St. Louis to Belleville how far it is, but I'm sure it's no more than a couple of hours. And their shipping is pretty quick, I will say that. Like, the longest something has taken to get to my home was about 4 or 5 business days. Like, that's the absolute longest. A lot of times they will literally like overnight stuff to you as well, especially if you're submitting a good size order, anything over like $300, they don't mind overnighting those. So, well, it depends on your rep too, because my cousin lives in Columbia, Missouri, which is also, a couple hours from Kansas City, St. Louis. Both of those, St. Louis to the east, Kansas City to the west. And he said that his rep said that they prefer $500 orders, where like my rep, I will say I built a relationship with my rep. Like, they know me as soon as I call them, as soon as I show up in person, whatever the case may be. Like, they know me, my name, they know the company. Like, they don't have to ask anything. Like, they pull me up, they ask, are you getting this again? Are you getting that? And then if there's anything else, then they get it taken care of for me. But for me, they say, $300, we can get it overnight to you. My cousin, from what I understand, they say $500. So ask your rep that as well. What do I need to spend to get overnight shipping? And a lot of times, they can overnight it to you as well. That'll work. St. Louis is 45 minutes. Oh yeah, so I bet that, your price to get overnight will be relatively low. And they eat the overnight price too on top of that. Like, they don't charge you for the shipping, which is why they usually say, hey, we want you to spend preferably, $300, $500, whatever the case may be. If you're only about 45 minutes from St. Louis, it sounds like, then chances are your threshold will probably be lower than, like I was referring to with my cousin who lives about 2 hours away from them. Just find the location that's closest to you, build a good relationship with them, and, they'll work with you, right? Let's see. They need my cert info. Yeah, so if you're gonna buy specifically, what is it? If you're gonna buy like Fipronil products, I believe. I know if you're gonna buy, which I don't even know if Top Choice is legal in your state up there in Illinois, but if you're gonna buy Top Choice, I know specifically like Top Choice, or what's it called, Taurus Trio, I believe, or Teco Trio, Taurus Trio, whatever it's called. I think it's Taurus Trio is what I'm thinking of, which is, pretty much same thing as Top Choice. if you're going to buy any of those like fipronil granulars, then they definitely want to get your certification information. What's weird though is from what I remember, you can buy Termidor SE, Termidor HE, etc. Pretty much all of their products, regardless if you have a license or not. So it is interesting from that aspect, but like you said, I think you just mentioned it here. They won't sell to the public. Oh, that is interesting. So our locate, or at least they were when they were formerly known as Univar, they would sell to the public, but you had to obviously know where they were, which they're in like an industrial area. They don't like have a bunch of signs everywhere or anything like that. Would you ask? Does that Taurus Trio granular have an IGR? That's a good question. I haven't really done. It's going to expose me a little bit. I haven't done a lot of research on the Taurus Trio. I've only used it once ever. I use Top Choice primarily. I don't believe there's an IGR in that, but I would need to confirm that for sure. Like I said, I haven't, bad pest technician, right? I haven't really like read the full label necessarily, but from what I recall, it's, just how I refer to it to people is it's fipronil in a granular format, essentially. It is very regulated. We are supposed to graph it out similar to if you did a termite treatment in terms of the property. At least I believe here in Texas we have to. You're supposed to graph it out, have of course your exact square footage of the property, that you're treating. Not the property is in the home, the property is in, the whole size of the land, right, that you're applying it to, because they just want to make sure that, that stuff's not just being recklessly applied, right? Making sure I didn't miss any questions or anything. Yeah, no questions so far. But yeah, back to the point too of where do we get chemical from. Like I said, I think we pretty much listed most of them off. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any else. So we talked about Viserys, we talked about how sometimes even Amazon you can find a good deal or two from time to time. What else did we mention? Target Specialty, of course. And believe it or not, a few of these quote-unquote do-it-yourself type of websites can have a good deal occasionally. I forget which I don't know if it's do-it-yourself or do-it-myself, or, their names are so close together. I forget which one it is, but we usually get our big gallon of Onslaught Fast Cap from them, because they will oftentimes have it on sale for I forget the price before tax. I want to say $370. It comes out to 400 or just over 400 after tax where I'm at in Texas, in the Dallas, Texas area specifically. But it comes out to right around $400 out the door, where most other places you're going to be looking at bare minimum $389, if not more, $389, $399 plus tax. So again, it's one of them things where, yeah, it's roughly $20 of savings. But again, if you break it down in terms of percentage, you're saving close to 5% or so. And like we keep talking about, what if you could add 5% to your bottom line? If you're doing $1 million and you add 5% to your bottom line, you just made an extra $50,000 on the year. That's a whole technician's salary, right? So, you definitely want to. Do not think about, oh, it's just $1, oh, it's just $5, oh, it's just $20, because the more money that you make in this industry, the easier it will be for you to be like, man, it's just $20, oh man, it's just $200, man, it'll just keep adding zeros to it at the end of the day, right? I caught myself today because of my TV that I have hooked up out here. I just bought it today, as a matter of fact, because my other TV that I hooked up out here pretty much just doesn't work anymore. And I was looking around at different TVs, not that this relates to pest control. Well, it does indirectly. You'll see here in a second why. But I was looking at it and I was comparing these two TVs. I had it pretty much narrowed down to two TVs, And I literally caught myself going, you know, F it, we'll just go ahead and do this one. You know, it's only a $20 difference between the two TVs. And I caught myself, I was like, never say only about that $20. I was like, let's make sure. I still went with the one that was $20 more because I was, you know, I did my due diligence, looked at reviews, this and that, of course. But I made sure once I caught myself going, hey, don't underestimate that $20. You know, I took a step back, looked at the situation, and then, you know, made the actual decision based on which is the better product, not just, you know, price and saving money and that kind of thing. How do you feel about online estimates without an inspection, and do you charge for inspections? So we do, in some cases, of course, we have our instant price tool on our website for primarily general pest control and mosquito control specifically. Once people start, of course, asking about rodent exclusion, rodent work in general, anything rodent related, right? It'll just tell them, you know, hey, you need an inspection for this. For any job that we have to actually, we cannot price it either online or over the phone. Those inspections we don't charge for as long as they do sign up for a service with us. We make it clear to them, you don't have to sign up for a rodent control or for a termite service or whatever the case may be. But if you don't sign up for any of our services, even just a simple like one-time pest control service, it's just a simple $75 inspection charge. It's, you know, just the fact that our time is worth something at the end of the day. I do not agree with what a lot of pest control companies do when it comes to just simply every inspection is a free inspection. Like, not all inspections are created equal at the end of the day. You know, that's just how we do it personally. It's worked out very well for us. Most people are understanding of that. Occasionally, people will, you know, not have you do it. Like, they'll call around somewhere else, but like I tell everybody else in this industry, if a customer is not, if they're so unwilling to commit in terms of they're worried about that little inspection fee that more than likely they wouldn't have to pay anyways, then it's probably a customer we weren't going to want to work with to begin with, because if they're that much of a tight ass where they're worried about it, then, you know, like I said, probably not somebody that we were looking forward to do business with in the first place. You're not going to win them all, guys. I can't stress that enough. So you got to pick your poison. You know, are you going to close a lot more sales and deal with a lot more headaches, or are you going to close less sales but make more money and, you know, deal with customers that for the most part you actually enjoy waking up, getting out of bed for, and, you know, doing what you got to do, right? Like I said, like I always stress too, not every day is butterflies and roses or anything like that, but, you know, you'd rather have a lot better days than a lot worse, shitty days, right? I think JM said exactly. Yeah, you said exactly. Yeah, yeah, and that's how we do it. But yeah, like I said, we do, of course, have that inspection, or not inspection, we have that instant price tool on our website. It really is a good lead magnet in terms of it gets people's attention immediately when they're on our website. I notice having that form on our website before we even started like having, you know, the SEO thing down and everything, just simply changing our form from a standard contact us form to an instant price tool, our form submissions like literally doubled overnight just by making that change, because it gets people's attention, right? They're on your website because they're dealing with some kind of problem, and for the most part they want to know what the price is to solve that problem, right? So if you have a basic form that every other pest control company has, what reason do they have to fill that out? They know you're going to solicit them. They know you're going to, you know, call them and harass them, you know, quote unquote harass them, right? So what makes them want to fill that form out? Nothing. You're just like all the other companies, right? But if you have some kind of tool that says, hey, get this. If you, you know, fill this out, get this. And it doesn't even have to be an instant price estimate tool like what we use, right? You can maybe make a free, let me see, what's a good example? Maybe like a free pest identification tool. You know, a lot of websites already have these, which in theory they work great because, you know, it's keywords primarily. But say you come out with like a little, not ebook, but technically an ebook in terms of a pest identification tool. You know, you can have a little pop-up on your website that says, you know, submit a form and get a free pest identification guide, right? You just want to have something, regardless of what it is, some kind of guide that you're giving out for free, ebook. You know, like for us, like we said, we do the instant price tool. You want to be giving them something for that contact information, because people aren't stupid, guys. Like, they know why you're wanting their information. They know why, unless if they're just, you know, they've been in a coma the last 30 years, right? They know why you want their email, phone number, name, even address in some cases, right? They know why you want all of that. So have some kind of incentive for them putting that information in there, and just watch how your leads start to explode. How's it going there, Tropical Fruit Loops? Would you reveal rodent entry points on inspection, or do you withhold inform? Yeah, no, I'm totally upfront with people. You know, I will, a lot of times I will walk customers around with me, as a matter of fact. Like, I mean, I get kind of where you're going with that question. Like, you know, would you rather just withhold the information, that way they can't do it themselves, or they can't just go hire, you know, like a subcontract, or not subcontractor, but like some kind of construction contractor, right? Like, I get all that. I've lost plenty of jobs to these type of people. But at the end of the day, again, like, it goes back to, you know, like we were talking about a few minutes ago with the whole free inspection versus, you know, we don't do free inspections. Either you're going to sign up for a service, or it's $75 plus tax. You know, by you being upfront and being honest with people, just doing our job at the end of the day, right? Showing how are you going to get the sale? By withholding information, right? Let me just ask that. Like, how do you think that's going to build trust? You know, this customer, for the most part, you don't have any type of rapport with them, more than likely. Like, unless if they were you were referred to by, you know, their friend or coworker or whatever the case may be, right? For the most part, you have no rapport with these people, so they don't even know if they can trust you from the get-go, right? And then, like, you're not even going to show them the problems, right? That's what we're in business for to begin with, right? Is solving problems. Sometimes we can kind of shoot ourselves in the foot by worrying too much about things we can't control. You know, we have enough problems as business owners at the end of the day. Like, at the end of the day, I just like to run my business as honest as possible. And, you know, if we lose out on jobs because of that, like I referred to a little bit ago, you know, it is what it is. You're not going to get them all. I would rather have a 20% closing rate, getting 90% customers that I'm happy to work with, versus having a 60 to 80% closing rate and hating 90% of the customers that I work with, right? So, you know, and to some degree, it's a balancing act, right? You're gonna have your filters in place, and, you know, sometimes a bad apple gets through, right? But, you know, as long as it's more so repetition too, because there's ways, like I mentioned, you can kind of filter a lot of this BS out between, you know, the good and the bad, but a lot of it really does come down to just repetition and not overthinking, you know, getting like or not even paralysis of analysis, wouldn't even be the right term. Like, I guess, you know, going back to shooting yourself in the foot, like, you don't want to overanalyze and just constantly tweak. Like, if you're tweaking your process every day, every week, you're doing too much tweaking. You know, you need to be trying something, especially when you're very early on and, you know, you're only dealing with maybe like one customer, you know, one lead or whatever per day early on. You know, you shouldn't be tweaking your process every single day or anything. You need to try something for at least at the minimum 50 to 100 customers, or not customers, but leads, like inbound leads. You need to try whatever you're trying for the first 50 to 100, and then from there you can make a little tweak, and then try it again, and then make a little tweak. It's a constant, like I said, it's all about repetition. It's a constant work in progress, but don't get caught up over analyzing your process and then just constantly changing it. That's something that I did early on, and now that we've been doing things for going on about 3 years or so now, about to go into year 4 here in just a couple months, things are finally starting to smooth out, and we've got our process in place that works for us. Let's see, what is that pricing tool you mentioned? It's a tool that I made myself with, it's a plugin called Formidable Forms. It's on WordPress specifically. I don't know. I think, JM, if I recall, you have a Wix website. I don't know. I know you can embed a Formidable Form on a Wix website, but I don't know I don't know how that would work in terms of accessing the tool outside of WordPress, though. But I did create it it's called Formidable Forms. I usually offer up knowledge free. Usually people sign up still. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, when you're honest with people, like I mentioned a minute ago, when you're honest with people, you're gonna usually get good, honest customers in return. It's the old saying, what goes around comes around. Karma's real, whatever the case, whatever your favorite terminology is, that stuff is real at the end of the day. I notice any time I start to get off track with anything, within my faith or whatever the case may be, life starts to get shitty all around, not just in business, right? So, I always try to live my life the best I can based on just, living based off of the good. I'm a believer, of course, so the biblical principles that, I wasn't even necessarily raised with, but that I've learned throughout my life, and the more that I stick to all of that stuff, my life just gets better and better, and that includes business, of course. I was approached, let's see, I also feel it's good to point out everything on the inspection. Exactly, like, that is our job. Like, and I always tell people, like, sometimes I'm almost, like, too direct about it. Like, I'll tell them, I'll be like, look, I'm not even, like, trying to sell you with it. Like, I'll literally say this. I'll say, I'm not even trying to, like, push a sale on you. It's just my job at the end of the day is if I see any issues to let you know, because you're not a pest control professional. Like, none of us expect you to see this squirrel hole that's been chewed out in your soffit or something, right? So I tell them, it's our obligation at the end of the day to make sure your home is protected when you hire us. That's why, like I tell you guys, don't be such a force when it comes to selling a customer. Get the first sure sale. Now, if you have a promo going on, I'm not saying don't mention your promo or anything like that, but don't push so hard that the customer starts to withdraw from you. Because once the lead has, they're withdrawn from the conversation, you've lost practically all opportunity from there. You have like a 1% chance of them going with another company, hating that company, and then calling you back because, they forgot about you. In all honesty, they don't even remember calling you in the first place, and it just by chance they call you again. I've had that happen like 1 or 2 times ever since I've been in business. Because, of course, we put everybody's information in as leads and stuff. So as soon as the number called, it, showed up in our system. I was like, I remember this conversation, but it almost never happens. So when you get the lead, I cannot stress enough, just get the for sure sale, even if it's low dollar amount. You're thinking, oh, well, it's just $300, or not 300, it's only $400 or $500 a year, whatever. Like, don't think about that. Think about the opportunity. One, you're going to be making money, so be grateful first and foremost. Second of all, once again you get your foot in the door, you earn their trust, you start seeing some things, you can start making more money from there. I think they call it like a value add in terms of like real estate, for example. But let me see here. I was approached by Value Pack for advertising. I have no idea who Value Pack is, to be honest. I do not work with any marketing companies, advertising firms, anything like that. Everything that I do primarily is just self-taught, to be honest. Trial and error, constant tweaking of things. I watch a lot of YouTube in terms of, YouTube, you can learn almost anything if you search enough. That's how a lot of you found my channel. I know my channel's not like a super popular channel or anything. We don't even have 2,000 subscribers yet. We're getting there, but we're not even like, you're not even like on the radar until you're at 10,000 subscribers plus. Like, I think the number that I seen recently was 97% of YouTube channels never hit 10,000 subscribers. Like, I'm not even like on the radar yet in terms of like people knowing who I am or anything like that. So, you guys know exactly how it is on YouTube in terms of self-teaching yourself something. Like, you dig enough on YouTube for a topic, you can learn just about anything. So, same goes for marketing. Could it be a weak point for you? And, you may need to hire somebody for that? Sure. Like, there are I'm not saying you can literally run a business by yourself. Like, don't get me wrong at all. Like, there are things that you just, for example, for me, it's not worth my time and sanity to do my accounting. So we have a CPA, right? I don't do stuff with law, so, you use a business attorney, right? Like, there's things that you just don't want, like, it wouldn't even make sense to try to be self-taught, right? But with things that are simple, like building your website, marketing, or at least things that are simple to me, like I said, things that are simple to me may not be simple for you. You need to find out what you can, like, catch on to relatively quickly, and the things that you can't catch on to relatively quickly, delegate those. But to your point, like your question about them, like I said, I've never heard of them, but in fairness, I haven't heard of a lot of these marketing agencies just because, again, that's one of those subjects where I catch on to it pretty quickly, so I don't really have the use for using a marketing firm or anything like that. But I will say this. When it comes to marketing specifically, be very careful. Marketing, SEO services, there are a lot of scammers. There's a lot of BS out there. That's why I ultimately self-taught myself a lot of this stuff, is because, and there's still stuff within, for example, SEO. I'm not very good at getting backlinks for a website, for example, but I'm very good at structuring my website properly to where even though our website may lack backlinks, even though we still got like close to 300 of them, since my website is linked properly and I'm building such strong topical authority within my subject, that is getting us pushed up. If I started getting backlinks, oh dude, I've become so busy. I wouldn't even need any type of advertising. I already almost don't need to pay for any type of advertising as it is. That's why we've been looking at, hiring somebody for backlink building services because, like I said, I know it's a weak subject of mine within the whole SEO side of things. Everything else, I'm like excellent when it comes to SEO, but with backlink building specifically, one, it takes a lot of time and effort. Two, there's a lot that goes into it too. It's not just the time and effort. It is the effort. It's not just the time, it's the effort that goes into it as well. So, just be careful, do your due diligence. Of course, check out BBB, check out Trustpilot. Trustpilot's becoming like the new BBB, it seems, in terms of, people are super quick on Trustpilot to leave both positive and negative. Like, that's what I've never really liked about BBB, is like no one really thinks to go leave positive reviews on BBB, right? They only leave negative ones, right? It's almost like a dispute center or something. But when it comes to like Trustpilot, there's a lot of just straight up truth. There's very consistent, either good, bad. If it's an average company, there's some good, there's some bad. Like, you can get a good view of a company by looking at their Trustpilot reviews. And if they're not on Trustpilot, just know that, chances are it's BS. Let's see. Value pack, what'd you say? Let's see. Value pack is a circular that puts hard copy pamphlets and envelopes and mails them out. They also advertise with postcards. I'd like to forward. In all honesty, it'd probably get lost in my emails just because I get, not BSing, hundreds of emails per day. If anything, you'd be best to put it in Discord or a Facebook group. I'd be more likely to see something there. Yes, I need help with internal and external SEO linking. Yeah, internal linking, that is, the website. I'll actually break that down in just a second. BBB is the complaint department, but yeah, exactly. But yeah, in terms of the internal linking, that was actually what I was kind of referring to a second ago. Man, my freaking chair is getting in my way. So just to give you guys an idea, let me get this guy over here. And we'll turn this camera, turn you guys a little bit. We've talked about this a little bit. We hit on it hard for a couple of streams and videos. But just to kind of give you an idea, let me adjust our little setup here just a little bit so you guys can kind of see what's going on up here. All right. So with internal linking, JM, hopefully you're still tuning in because you'll get a lot of value from this specifically. And you probably have heard me mention this a little bit, but I just want to kind of reiterate it. If you followed up from, what was it, last night or maybe night before stream where I mentioned Chris Palmer, SEO, he talks about this quite a bit too when it comes to internal linking. Internal linking, in all honesty, is the easiest form of link building that you can do for your website, and you can do it very quickly. Where people get it wrong is when they start cross-linking versus linking up. So we'll go over, the right way to do it versus the wrong way to do it, so you know what to do and what not to do. So when you have, your page set up, your website set up right, you're of course going to have, like home page, service location, services, yada, yada, yada. So from there, let's say your service location page, because those are the pages that are most likely to rank well on Google for us, newer businesses. So say you have your main website, of course, pest.com / your service location, which let's just say it's Dallas, right? Because I'm in the Dallas, Texas area, of course. So this would be the page that we're trying to rank well on Google, right? So from there, of course, where we start out in terms of building topical authority around pest control in Dallas is obviously the most simple way to do this is create service pages around Dallas, Texas. You can start out with, say, spiders, and then mosquito, and then, maybe your general pest control, and then termite, what else? And then your rodent control, right? You just go down and list those services. These are all separate pages, by the way. They're not just, you listing off the services. These are all individual pages. So how it would read in terms of the URL would be pest.com / Dallas / general pest control or / termite control in Dallas. That's the other thing too. When you're creating the URL for these pages here, make sure that you mention the service location. Don't just say pest.com / Dallas / general pest control. Say / Dallas / general pest control service in Dallas, right? And then from there, to build your topical authority even more, you would start creating pieces of support content. And this is where you really start building your topical authority, because then you would, do, say, let's get this out of the way, you do, say, a FAQ costs, you know, maybe a how to, you know, you could go as far as you want with this, but again, these would be separate pages here. Can't stress that enough. So how would that read? Pest.com/Dallas/spider control Dallas/frequently asked questions about spider control in Dallas. So then when you're building the internal links, how do you want to link this? Let's say we're talking about frequently asked questions about spider control service in Dallas, Texas. It's very easy to link it. As a matter of fact, you know, you could damn near link it through your title, but obviously you don't want to do that. The best place to link it would either be in your header or the body. You know, when I say header, I'm talking, of course, when you're building a page, you have your H1, which is usually your title of the page. Then from there you have your H2, which is going to be, how do I explain it? Almost like chapters of the page. I'll just say chapters with quotations because, like I said, it's not really like chapters. It's just the easiest way to kind of describe it. And, you know, then of course you could have H3s, H4s. I mean, it goes all the way through like H6, H7 if you want. But usually after H2 or H3, you're going to have the body where you can link as well. These, in terms of linking, you're not going to link in your H1. You can link in your H2 and you can link in your body, but the easiest way to go about doing the internal linking properly would be to mention throughout the article, you know, somewhere in the article, a frequently asked question about spider control, because when you have it, let me erase this so we have some room here. Let's just say, for example, you write out FAQ about spider control in Dallas, Texas is, and then, you know, whatever the rest is. Your internal linking would be, of course, you're linking up to the spider control. So you'd say spider control in Dallas. So that covers this link. And then from there, further on, you know, down in the body of that article, you would say, for more information about pest control services we offer in Dallas, Texas, you're linking back up to that page as well, because again, you would hyperlink that text to Pest Control Dallas, Texas. So then you linked up, you've completed the link. And then of course, pest.com/Dallas is already linking down to these pages because it is the parent page of all of this content. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. I know it can be kind of hard to follow. Let's see. So the logic is that those audiences feel catered to and know what you provide in their area. In all honesty, man, a lot of these, once you get down to this level, these aren't even usually popping up in search. Not gonna lie. A lot of times if they are, it's gonna be an FAQ or a costs. These can sometimes show up, you know, for example, we were looking at that pest control website that was somewhere in the Frisco area. When you type in how much does pest control cost in Frisco, Texas, they popped up at the top of Google because they answered the question, how much does that service cost in that area? It's a hyper local search, therefore they showed up at the top. It gave me an idea for how to, you know, create some articles for even my own website in the future. But a lot of times these, you're just building, all it's doing is building the topical authority. It's feeding the beast. The beast that you're having show up in the Google search is your actual service location page. Most of this stuff here is for Google, essentially. Now, like we said, can people still find these? Yeah, we get a couple clicks a month from these different type of pages, but more than anything, it's reminding Google, hey, this page here, it's very, very important, guys. If you're wanting to show us on page one for anything, this is the most, you're sending all of the notifications, the signals to Google that, hey, we're linking everything up to this page. This is obviously a very important page on the website. So, like I said, hopefully that kind of makes sense. I understand everything you say. This information is crucial. I've seen guys build successful business just on word of mouth, door knocking, but your approach is much more sustainable where phones ring without legwork. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's kind of the goal. Like, it's not that, it's not that, like, I'm lazy or anything. Like, I bust my ass, of course, doing all of the work on our website nonstop, but, you know, it's what I enjoy to do. I enjoy building businesses that can keep growing with or without me, first of all. And second of all, I like businesses that, like you said, you can keep getting business in terms of new leads without having to go out and do the door knocking, doing cold calling, doing all the stuff that, let's be real, is kind of dead. It's not dead, but it's on the decline. And also, it's something that nobody enjoys doing. No one enjoys being on the receiving end of it. You see nothing but complaints nonstop. Like you said, I'm with you. I think it's essential. So essentially, give Google bots more to crawl. That helps you out. Not just anything. Don't give them shit, but, you know, linking it the right way, if you do it properly, yes. So JM, like I said, don't just start throwing a bunch of blog content on your website. That's actually where I effed up in the beginning. Was I just took our posts page, which is like a blog, and this is what a lot of companies do. A lot of pest control companies F this up because they create, you have, again, your header up here. We'll kind of just make a simple, website page, right? You have your header up here at the top that, is usually going to have your home page, service page, locations, and then, blog, right? A lot of companies have a blog, but it really means jack shit because it's not linked properly. It's not set up properly. All you're doing is you're letting Google know, hey, I want people to think, you're telling Google that I'm a blog website, essentially. I'm letting people have information. I'm an information website. Like, I'm not trying to drive traffic to my website just to drive traffic to my website, right? I'm driving traffic to my website because I want some fucking business, right? I don't want people just hopping in my website for a quick 30 seconds or whatever the case may be to read the article and then boom, they bounce. I want them to see it. Not just see it, I want the people in a certain area to see it, fill out a form, call us, whatever the case may be. We're not building a blog page. We're building a service business, right? So how these are built wrong, quality content, of course, so if it can't just be, yeah, exactly. Needs to be unique to your business, right? Because just like with customers, Google wants to know, why should we push this content? Like, what makes your content, think of it in terms of how a customer thinks, When a customer is looking at potentially using you for their service, they're thinking, what makes you different than your competitor, right? Think how Google thinks when it comes to pushing you up the algorithm in terms of up the search results. they're thinking, why should we push your content over Terminex, over Orkin, over, whatever big local company, that's in your area? Why should I push you over, a big company, bigger local company down here is, I think they're called Allsafe Pest and Termite. Why should we push this article over, Allsafe Pest and Termite, right? You want to send Google those proper signals and give them what people are searching for. So think about what your customer is searching for, build your content around that, and Google will reward that over time, but only if it's linked properly. So back to what I was referring to, where a lot of companies just create a generic ass basic blog. What they'll do is, you have your blog over here. Let's just kind of split this into, we have blog, we have location, we have, we'll just say service, right? We won't even worry about like homepage and this and that, because these are where most people are linking to. What they'll do is they'll make a, drop down, what's an example, I guess? How much does it cost? We'll just say cost that, they have a blog about how much does it cost, right? So already you'd have pest.com/blog/ whatever the title is, how much does pest control cost in Dallas, Texas, right? Well, if you didn't worry about linking to, let's say we have the Dallas page over here, it's its own page, or that's the service, duh. Get that out of there. So Dallas right here, and then the service, we'll just say GPC, General Pest Control, right? These are their own pages as well, obviously. So where they start messing up, and I see, unfortunately, we have people dropping off. You're dropping off at the worst time, because this is crucial information that you want to know, but everybody just wants to know, okay, how do I get rich though? How do I get rich? This stuff will make you rich. We're not getting rich quick, we're getting rich for sure. But the real ones are still tuning in, of course. They're getting a bunch of free game. Where these companies are messing up is they're cross-linking. So they're saying, okay, how much does it cost in Dallas for general pest control? So then, and a lot of times it doesn't stop there either. Because what do a lot of companies do? They're trying to maximize the reach of that article. So they're not just linking to Dallas and general pest control. They may be linking to, Plano. They may be linking to, cross that out. They may be linking to Richardson, right? And then since it's all about cost, we may go ahead and link to our termite page, right? They just start linking, link, just linking, just crossing the links all over, and Google's like, what the hell is going on, right? Like, Google's doesn't know what to do with this, because they see, okay, you're linking to Dallas, you're linking to Plano, you're linking to Richardson, you're linking to your termite, like, you got so many different links going on. Google's like, what the hell, like, what's the point of this article? Like, what page are you wanting us to apply this to at the end of the day? So, like we said, this is the worst way possible, and unfortunately, when you either A, build the website yourself and have no idea what you're doing, or B, you blindly hire it out to somebody who they also really don't know what they're doing when it comes to standard basic internal linking structure, not to mention silo structure. The silo is completely messed up, because again, how should this be linked? If you're just tuning in, we showed you, but we can do a little tiny version over here of how this should actually be siloed the right way. You would have, of course, pest.com. From there, it would drop down to the location, which is Dallas. From there, it would drop down to, we were talking about general pest control. which is the service of that location. So GPC Dallas, right? And then from there, it would drop down to what the article was about, which is how much does general pest control cost in Dallas. So one, the silo structure is completely messed up, right? Because it's structured under the blog, so it's only really benefiting your blog page. It's not benefiting that Dallas page that you're trying to rank whatsoever. And then also in terms of the linking, of course you'd be linking up to here. You would link up to there. And then of course it all connects to your home page at the end of the day, which is why over time, the older you get as a company and you have hundreds of thousands of pieces of content throughout the life of your business, your homepage, like Orkin, Terminix, etc., ends up ranking everywhere because there's just so much internal linking that occurs naturally because your homepage is, in the header and footer of every single page on your website, right? But in terms of the service location page, which is highly underutilized in our industry, but utilized very smartly by the big players that are up and coming, you link all this properly, you silo structure it properly. Like, which do you think is easier for a Google bot to follow? Let's just split the two. You know what? Let's use a different color. Which do you think Google can follow better? Option number 1 or option number 2? Which one do you think? Let me know in the chat. I know we only got a few of you tuning in. We'll probably be wrapping up soon. It's already almost 11:30 where I'm at. But let me know in the chat. Like, which do you think Google's bot, that crawls your website, which do you think it's going to be able to follow easier in terms of silo structure and your internal linking? Do you think it's going to be able to follow this option number 1 or option number 2? Let's see what we got in the chat so far. Option 1, of course. Yeah, exactly. I mean, because it's just so easy to understand and easy for that to, happen. It makes sense once somebody, sits down and explains it to you like this. Like I say, I give all the credit in the world to Chris Palmer, SEO, the YouTube channel. He was the one that got me hip on this. He answered even some of my questions in live streams of his. He has, I think his channel's pretty big now. It's up to like 25, 30,000 subs. But he does like all like kind of SEO, marketing, all that type of stuff for not just pest control, but like all sorts of different like, I guess like service businesses, so to speak. And when I watched his live streams and videos about this, it just blew my mind away. I was like, oh my God, I've been structuring my website and linking wrong. Like, no wonder my stuff's ranking, anywhere between 50, 60, 70, page 5, 6, 7 on Google, right? The moment we literally just made this change, a lot of pages went from 50s and 60s up to like teens, 20s, and 30s. And we still have some 40s. Like, if you look at our average ranking, again, when it comes to your broad range, when you're looking at Google Search Console, don't even worry about, when you first pull up your website's performance, what you see, because it is showing you a broad overview of your entire website. So like we said, a lot of those bottom pages that are just for building topical authority, those usually, generally speaking, are not going to rank well, just because they're not really, they're optimized, but they're not optimized to the level of course, like a service location page, right? Now, say you started building content under that content, then, you start seeing a boost in rankings. But either way, whatever the bottom pages are, those are usually always going to rank pretty poorly for the most part. Occasionally you'll just knock a home run on a blog post or something. Like we had one about who's responsible for pest control in Texas, tenants or landlords or something like that. That page gets clicks every single month, and it's usually averaging around like number 12 through 15 on the Google search for whatever reason. You'll have ones like that, but the main thing is when you go into Google Search Console, you're going to want to pull up the specific web pages that you're tracking. You guys have probably seen, if you pay attention in our streams and videos, when we talk about Google Search Console, how you can track a certain page. That's how you're really going to see, the SEO effort, because when you pull up that specific page, are you seeing just kind of this? Are you seeing something, kind of like this? Or are you seeing something, kind of like this? This is what you're going for, of course, when it comes to your rankings and, of course, clicks and all that type of stuff. Just like anything in business, right? You want it to be going up, not down or sideways, right? But like I said, Google Search Console, a lot of people will look at it and be like, man, my website is showing an average ranking of, 40 or 50 or 30 or whatever the case, not 15 on up where you want to be. That's because, like we said, when you pull up the performance rankings for Google Search Console, it's taking into account that entire website. So go in there, filter it first and foremost to only show you it based on US traffic only, not the entire world, obviously. And then from there, filter it down to the exact page that you're wanting to track the metrics on. And then from there, you'll get a much more accurate view of how your SEO efforts for your website, for your pest control business, are actually paying off. But hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream. If you are, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. We've gone over a lot of content, a lot of subjects tonight. Specifically, I wasn't even really planning on talking about website stuff a lot tonight, but we went over a lot of website stuff this evening that, like, who was it? I think it was you, Tropical Fruit Loops, was saying, like, this is essential. Yeah, I mean, this can literally, that silo structure, baby. Yeah, exactly. It can make your life so much easier. And like I said, if you structure everything properly, do you think that's not going to help your Google business profile? If Google, we're talking about Google's algorithm and stuff, right? Do you not think that Google, that same algorithm isn't directly, having conversation, in terms of bots having a conversation? Do you think that those things are not speaking to each other in terms of, hey, this website talks a lot about pest control in Saxe, Texas, or Rowlett, Texas, Dallas, Texas. Maybe we need to go ahead and push his rankings up over here. Like, of course, there's a lot that goes into it, but my point is, speaking of, talking about the website stuff, do you think that by having things structured properly, it's going to hurt you? Obviously not. Do you think that it may do nothing? Maybe. Do you think that there's a possibility that it could actually help your Google business profile rankings? Possibly. So, there's so many reasons to make sure that you get that right for your pest control business. I cannot stress it enough. I'm trying to think if there were any other questions that I've been getting lately. If you have any other questions too, don't hesitate, drop it down in the chat below. If we don't have any more questions or anything, we'll probably end the stream soon. But I'm trying to think, because of course we're getting questions on the channel pretty much every day now. I try to keep in my head, like the most common questions that I get asked. Of course, a common question I get asked all the time is, do I have time for like a consultation or anything like that? Oops, forgot to turn my sprinklers off tonight. Hopefully we're not about to get wet. One common thing, like I said, is do we have time to do like one-on-one consultations? I barely do. If you're interested in any consultations or anything like that, I do have a website. It's griffinbthomas.com, of course. I believe the link is in my link tree, as well as probably in the description box down below. But that's a common question I get asked all the time. I probably need to do like a short or a video or something, just a little short video to like pinned to my profile or something on YouTube. That way everybody knows, because of course we're getting new viewers in all the time on the channel. A lot of y'all wanting to start pest control businesses. It's awesome to see because it's a very lucrative industry. It's one of the rare industries where you can actually make a good living just being a, quote unquote solo, or what do they call them? Let's see, because of course everybody talks about being an entrepreneur. What do they call them? Not a entrepreneur. Solopreneur, I think is the term that they use for that. But it's one of the rare industries where you can be like a solo operator, a one-man show, and make a damn good living. We were actually breaking down the numbers in last night's live stream about how, you can literally make $300,000 plus per year. Obviously, that's before taxes. That's gross profit. But you can easily do $300,000+ in sales as a one-man show. And that's great money for somebody that's just trying to replace their job, right? So I'm always a proponent of, if a technician has the drive and has the knowledge and everything to start their own pest control business, you should go for it. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, you fail? Do you not think there's not going to be other pest control companies needing technicians? Like, you can always go back to another pest control company. That's just my 2 cents on it. Some people, they're so like held down in terms of like, they think that, oh, well, I need the insurance, I need the 401k, this and that. No, you need to go out and build a business. That way all of that stuff can be taken care of by the business. What we were talking about last night was, how much a company that does $325,000 a year can be worth damn near, $750,000 if it's structured properly and everything. So, get off that soapbox at the end of the day. But I'm always a proponent of people doing it. I want that financial freedom for sure. Yeah, no, you can definitely. Now, we'll say this. Everybody's definition of financial freedom is different. But to me, and of course there's the quote-unquote textbook definition. But to me, financial freedom is, again, this is just for me personally, financial freedom for me is, I could not work another day. It's not that I don't want to work another day in my life, but I have the ability to not work another day in my life. Like, say I have some debilitating, injury, or heaven forbid, but illness or something. But, say something happens where I can never work again. To me, financial freedom is having that ability to never work again and still have money coming in, for the rest of my life, my kids' life, my wife's life, my kids' life, my kids' kids' life, like something that can be passed down generations. That, I know that's technically like the definition of like generational wealth, not financial freedom, but to me that's, are you really free if you can't take care of your loved ones, if you can't take care of your community, if you can't, spend money without really caring about how much money you're spending? At what level are you really free? That's where, like I said, of course there's a textbook definition, but then, everybody has their own little opinion, and that's my own 2 cents at the end of the day. Are you incorporating your LLC? And I had a question above about SEO. I'll scroll up and take a look. In terms of the LLC, so we have the LLC, and then in terms of tax filing, we file as a S corp, if that makes sense. Let's see. I wanted to see. Let's see. So essentially, give Google bots more to crawl, and that helps you rank. Is that the question you were talking about, JM? Because we answered that one. So the logic is that those audience feel catered to and know what you provide in their area. I'm wondering if that's the question you may have been referring to. If that's the question you're referring to, pretty much I could go in for a whole hour, do a whole TED talk about, why Google's algorithm is the way that it is from that standpoint. But, like I said, long story short, it's topical authority. When you talk about something over and over and over again, and Google believes that it will provide value, they're going to rank, you know, how your website is structured, they're going to rank all that up. Makes sense about the S Corp. No, it was local Falcon versus SEMrush. So SEMrush, I'll tell you, you don't really need it until you're really getting deep into your website. Local Falcon, it's mostly going to be good for, like I said, keeping track of your Google Business Profile rankings. That tool is a must, in my opinion. For $25 a month, you can't really beat it. SEMrush, to get everything you really need, it's a great tool for your website, like tracking and backlink building and this and that and the other, but to get every tool that you absolutely need, it's going to be close to like $200+ per month. So, it's one of those things where unless if you're really, really, really diving in to your website, it's not something you absolutely have to have. As a matter of fact, I just ended my subscription for mine. It's one of those tools where I just subscribe to it when, like I said, I'm really diving in deep to it. And then whenever I'm super busy and I don't have a lot of time for it, I just go ahead and pull my subscription for it, because why add that extra $200 or so per month to my business budget? But yeah, $250 a month on it. Yeah, no, mine was only $197 for the tools that I had, but yeah, I mean, it can get upwards of like $400. It can get expensive quickly, but Local Falcon, that's definitely a tool you want to use. Tropical Fruit Loop says, I was top grossing and top reviewed tech at my 100-person branch for 2022. Honestly, love to work and I want to do more, be rewarded more. I'm nearly ready once my insurance goes through. Yeah, no, that'll be awesome. Definitely keep us updated on how your journey goes. I always love hearing your all's stories, because when I first started not the YouTube channel, because of course I've been posting on YouTube for like 7 or 8 years now, but when I started talking about my pest control business and whatnot, I didn't even really expect for there to be so many people. Like, I know, of course, people that I talk to and this and that work for the company that I was working for and this and that, but I didn't realize just how many people, one, are in this industry, but two, that either secretly want to start their own business, or they flat out are starting their own business and they're just getting everything in place, getting started. There is a lot of you, and I've been posting enough pest control content now where I've actually witnessed some of you guys go from being on the fence of starting your business to starting your business to now some of you have been in business for a few months even, and you're telling us, your quote unquote like success stories. Like, it's cool to see other people take what we talk about here, put it into action, and, do their own thing too, of course. Some of you door knock when clearly I do not, of course, but like I mentioned on the channel, a lot of you guys will probably be bigger, quicker than me, just because there's things that we do not do as a company, just because that's the perks of being the owner at the end of the day. You can decide what you do want to do, what you don't want to do, and, just kind of go from there, right? But yeah, no, definitely keep us updated on that too, Tropical Fruit Loops. Oh, wanted to ask if you have joined. Yeah, I think you asked that yesterday, actually, too. So the only one I'm really part of is the NPMA. The one that Texas is part, or like, it's the Texas one. I forget what it was. Like, when I went to join NPMA, it says, you're in the state of Texas. You would be joining TPCA or something like that, which is pretty much NPMA. It's just Texas Pest Control Association. That's the one that I am part of. Don't know. I guess I'll renew it probably this upcoming year, but I don't really quote unquote utilize this. Another one of them things where you're pretty much just paying for a couple backlinks for the website, and just get what you get out of it and go from there. Same thing as Chamber of Commerce is like, I don't go to any real like events or anything necessarily in terms of the Chamber of Commerce, but I know I got backlinks from them, so it's like, that alone makes it worth the money. Assuming that those backlinks are do follow links, right? Right on. Did you go to any conferences? No. Yeah, no, I haven't gone to any conferences or anything. Um, I'm the type of person where, like I said, there's so much of this stuff on YouTube. One, in terms of the pest control side of things, I mean, it's pest control at the end of the day. Like, nothing's really, until I notice that there's some changes going on that, like, I definitely need to get my ass learning about. There's really no reason to go to like these like pest control conferences, in my opinion. In terms of business conferences, though, or like business related, like business growth, websites, marketing, this and that. I would like to go to some in the future, like we've talked about a few times on these streams. Depending on where we are at, another year roughly from now, I want to host my own like business conference specifically for pest control business owners. That way, we can actually network as a community on more than just YouTube, first of all, of course, but also, just literally pick each other's brains. Like, have some, almost like, what do you call them? Like speakers, I guess. Like have some speakers. Of course, I would be speaking in it, and then have some other like guest speakers and this and that. Everybody just that, because everybody has like something unique to offer that can help all of us grow our knowledge in not necessarily the industry type of stuff like the bug side or anything, but in terms of what we need to know, which is how to grow and sustain and protect our business, right? So that's kind of, and that's what I noticed this industry is kind of lacking in. Of course, there's big conferences that promote the biggest companies like Pest Routes and QuickBooks and this and that. The just it's more of like a sales gimmick more than anything at a lot of conferences, where I want to someday here in the very near future put on my own conference that I host, that I can filter through all that BS and just really put on like the best pest control business conference of all time. I want it to be epic. I got really hyped about you talking about your own conference last night. Very excited about more small businesses making their own type of BNI network. Yeah, no, and it's like I said, it's just mostly it'd probably be something that would only be probably like a once a year type of event, just because those events are very expensive. So it's like, first and foremost, have to have some kind of proof of concept. Chances are the first conference would be relatively small, at a smaller location, like a hotel or something, whatever the case may be, like a hotel conference center or something like that. And then once we have some kind of proof of concept that people will show up, then, like I said, I want to put on a conference at the Star in Frisco where they can have upwards of a couple hundred to 10,000 of us in there, and we can just put on, one of the best pest control business conferences, of all time. That'd be awesome. And like I said, just be able to filter out all the BS, like not make it just a giant sales pitch, make it something where, you have people from all stages that have some knowledge that most people don't have, and just put it out there for all of us. So yeah, no, it'll be cool to see, if we can get something get something developed, or get in the process of getting something developed, and see kind of where everything goes. I'm not a fortune teller, of course. We'll see kind of just how things unfold over time, but we'll see. That'd be a godsend. Yeah, no, it'd be awesome for sure. But yeah, no, I see we've already been live for like an hour and a half, going on 2 hours, and it's going on almost midnight here. So I'll probably go ahead and look to wrap this live stream up this evening. It was awesome having you guys here again this evening. Of course, if you have any questions after the live stream goes from a live to a video, don't hesitate to drop comments down below the video. And of course, you can join our Discord and Facebook groups. Those are totally free to join. Links for those are in the description box, and I believe they're in my link tree as well, which is like at the top, I believe, of the close to the top of the description box of the video. And then of course, if you want any type of deals, the best deal we have right now in terms of like affiliate links or whatever is that you can get Gorilla Desk Pro for 14 days for free if you're in the market for like a pest control business software. If you use the link in the description box, which I think is also in my link tree as well. The link tree pretty much has everything. That's what I love about Linktree. It has all of the links that you guys would definitely benefit from, but the best one right now that I believe we have is that you can get 2 weeks of Gorilla Desk for free on us for 14 days. And that's the Gorilla Desk Pro version, so you get access to everything that you see me whenever I show you guys my Gorilla Desk, my CRM platform that we use. You're going to have access to all of that. I don't own Gorilla Desk, of course. Like I said, I just got an affiliate link for you guys just a couple days ago, and they're hooking you up with 2 free weeks. So yeah, definitely utilize that if you haven't already. Of course, I got a couple links as well for different types of products that I try to find the best deals, of course, all the time on different products. In terms of the best one for that, I believe, of course, we mentioned the Techo Pro IGR. That should be in the description box. And then there's a badass Webster pole that I use. I might need to do a video about that, show you guys this badass Webster pole. It'll reach, like, depending on the size of your arm reach too, of course, it'll reach like 30 feet in the air damn near. And it's super easy to use on top of that. It's not one of those hard ones that you gotta, untwist it and this and that. It just has a little deal that you just pop it and extend it, and it has like 4 levels to it. It's badass. It breaks down to like 4 or 5 feet too, so it'll fit in the bed of any truck. Like, super cool. I'll have to do a video about that. I think you guys would enjoy that video. And like I said, there's a link for that. We got all sorts of links anymore for you guys. But yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you enjoyed the stream, or if you're watching it post-stream, then, enjoyed the video, do me a favor and smash that like button. Definitely put a link for Webster Pro, please. If you're talking about the Webster pole that I was just referring to, a link for that is in the description box, JM. If you scroll, I want to say you got to scroll down almost all the way to the bottom. It should say something like the best Webster pole that I found, or something like that. And I believe it's an Amazon link, if I recall. If you click it, it should take you right to Amazon to that listing. If for some reason it's not working or something, then let me know, and I can look to figure out what's going on with that. But it should take you right to that Webster pole. It's super badass. When I bought it, it was actually on sale, like stupid deal. It was like 50% off. It was something like $29. I think normal price it's around $50 if I recall. But that's pretty much going price now for any longer Webster pole, right? So even if you're getting like a painter's pole, one of those big ones from Home Depot, they're like 50, 60 bucks anymore. It's crazy. But yeah, link for that should be in the description box, like I said, towards the bottom. Like I said, it should be labeled like the best Webster pole I've ever found or something like that. And it should take you right to that listing. And like I said, if it doesn't for some reason, then just let me know. Wow, that is cheap AF. Yeah, yeah, no, it was a great deal. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I may not be able to go live tomorrow. If I'm able to, um, let's see, can you attach a duster or scraper? Yeah, no, you can do a scraper. It has the little deal where you can attach a Webster head, attach a scraper, whatever the case may be you want to attach to it. You can attach all those different attachments to it. And I know that you can purchase adapters even too, to where, like, say you need a different size or something, you can purchase an adapter to screw onto that. So yeah, no, it's like I said, it's the best Webster tool, Webster pole, whatever you want to refer to them as, that I've ever found for sure. Like I was saying a second ago, I may not be able to go live tomorrow with it being my daughter's birthday. We're going to have a lot of people over. We're going to be doing, lunch, dinner, all that type of stuff. So we may not be going live tomorrow. If we do, it'd probably be during the morning hours. It's hard to say. Like I said, it'll probably be one of those streams where I let you guys know like 10 minutes in advance and we go live. Or I may just try to, if I find a video in my archives or something that I can edit up for you all real quick, I may just post a video instead tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated in Discord and Facebook and all that stuff and let you all know. Gotta have time for the family. We know this. Yep, exactly. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Like I said, if you're seeing this live and you haven't already, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button below. We go live or upload videos on here pretty much daily for you guys. And until next time, guys, have a good evening. Stay safe out there and enjoy the weekend. And I will see you guys next time.